Yeah, very big welcome to you, my dear Aquarius. So today we have the sun in Cancer. And Cancer is all about we want to show to the world that we are going slowly into an emotional intelligence, because you can see how here the chariot is like a snail and it's a slow process. It's the evolutionary process that we all have to go through. And then when we calculate all of this together, right, the 19, then when we calculate it together, or we actually unite the numbers, right, the 10, the wheel of fortune, and the 9, the completion, we are seeing then the 10, the wheel of fortune, and then the 10 and the 7 is the 17, and that is you, the 17. And when you calculate the 10 and the 7 together, you get the 8. The 8, that's that infinite path into the light. And so the sun gives the light to the moon, which is today in your sign. And I'm using, of course, always the day where the moon is in your sign, not because it's in your constellation, to get the information through the subconscious. And so here you are, the star, and the moon will bring you that emotional clarity, what demons are still hiding in the dark that you want to clear. So the 17 is an 8, the 18 becomes a 9, the 9 and the 8, the 17. You appear again through the transformation. And this is with each zodiac sign. You come up again, right? And so this is why this is always the moon that has fascinated me, the movement of the moon, and that's where I create the reading. Then we're going to look, of course, into Uranus. Uranus has just moved into Gemini and is going to stay 7 years in Gemini. And in the last 7 months, 5 planets have changed zodiac signs, and I have been doing, right, the stations. Last time it was Jupiter in Cancer, it's going to stay a year, and Saturn in Aries is going to stay 3 years. And so right now, since Uranus is of course ruling you, I am doing, of course, Uranus in Gemini. Then we're going to look, of course, at the court card, and we have combinations with the court card. There is the court card here. I'm going to use the feminine king. We have in this deck a feminine and a masculine king, where the first part of the date is here the devil above, and here the king of swords. That's between the 9th and the 20th of January. Is your birthday there? Then you're this combination. And this combination, of course, I did in the previous reading where the moon was in Capricorn. So have a look at that if your birthday is between the 9th and the 20th of January. Then we have the classical Aquarius, which has above him the soul aspect, the star, and below he's the king of swords. That's between the 21st of January to the 7th of February. Is your birthday there? You're this combination. You are, right, the classical or the pure Aquarius. And then there is to the next sign, which is here the Knight of Cups, Pisces, this combination, which I do today, and that's between the 8th of February to the 19th of February. Is your birthday there? Then you're this combination. Of course, above you have as a soul aspect here the star, but here you already the Knight of Cups. Just understand that. Good. Then we're going to look at the last reading, because everything is cyclical and we need to include that. We had the King of Swords. You finally walk away from sadness. And the Knight of Cups, what weird magic are you up to now? And I looked, there are 2 cards that are coming back, meaning they want to talk again, and we are gonna, of course, look at that. Now, before I start the reading, I am considering taking a break in this channel. I have another channel that is German, and it's difficult because the readings are a little saying, don't stop, just continue, right? But it's been difficult because my time is only limited, and I have days where I'm like sometimes getting a little bit behind, and I need to check. So this could be the last reading. I just want to let you know because yeah, maybe I'm just gonna take a break and take some time off, and we'll come back and then you will see that again, or I will end it. I don't know yet, but I just want to give you heads up on that one. So the King of Swords, I'm gonna do the feminine king, is getting the Knight of Wands, and the Knight of Wands is Sagittarius. And so Sagittarius is the one that says, well, I'm going to go out there. I'm going to do what needs to be done. I'm going to go jump through the ring of fire. And where is he going to jump into? Into the healing, into the strength, into the 8. And so this is really interesting because the 8 is then here the 17 that turns into an 8. And the 8 strength is your opposite sign, right? For here, the King of Swords, the classical King of Swords, the Aquarius energy. And so here what's happening is that you are actively going into the healing. And so here the 11th zodiac sign of community and technology, right? The 11th house, you see that now something is really important to go into the community that is supporting you on a level that feels that it's healing you. And so here we have the 9 and the 8, that's the 17. So the 17 then turns into the 8. So the 8 is left, the healing is left. Take that jump into the healing, and you have the 8th of November or the 11th of August, right, as a date. Now, what is actually Leo saying is bringing the 4 of air, which is Jupiter in Libra. And so you need to understand that this jump into the strength of taking care of yourself brings then the next healing level, which is the 4 of air, and that's expansion within the realm of meditation. You are learning to become someone that is really clearly understanding that all 12 zodiac signs, because the 8 and the 4 is the 12, and the 12 then turns into the 3, which is the Empress. All 12 zodiac signs are now asked to awaken to their true potential, to their healing. That healing is possible. Unless we are not believing in it, then it's going to be difficult. But if you believe healing is possible, healing is possible. And so the 3 is left, right? The 311 or the 11-3. Now I'm going to put her down for a moment. What is coming from the Mother Peace Tarot? We get the 3 of Cups to the right, and that is Mercury in Cancer. And the Cancer Sun, the Chariot, slowly we're going towards the light. You see that these women are celebrating. They're here at this source, and they're jumping and they're having a good time. And it's almost that, right? Then you have a 3-3 portal, right? We had the 9. The 9 plus the 8 is the 17. The 17 turns into the 8. The 8 and the 4 is the 12. The 12 calculates together the 3. The 33, but you need to do all this work to come into mastery, and then you can celebrate, and then you can see, yeah, I'm having fun, I'm enjoying myself, and I have found my healing. I have found the tribe with whom I can enjoy myself here, like these people are in the 8, right? You see, these are animals. You can see that this is, when you meditate, you can see all of that, and this is what's happening to you, my dear Aquarius, right? And so it's a beautiful message already here, simply by looking at these cards. Good. Then we have the Knight of Cups. He's getting the slowing down, and the slowing down is coming towards him. It's interesting because this is the Knight of Pentacles. That's a Virgo. And so the 12 And the 6, right, turns into the 18, and the 18, that's the moon. And in the moon, we always know that we have to take care of the dark side of the moon. And this is what Virgo does. Virgo gives you the light for your full moon. It's your opposite sign. The same way here for Aquarius, Leo is the opposite sign. Now here Pisces, right, the Knight of Cups is getting also its opposite sign. And it's almost like you're jumping forward, or you're jumping within to actually see that here the turtle is following you slowly. And it feels like this, right? This is also very slow. It's like take your time. And so the 12 and the 6, the 18, then the 9 is left. The 9 is the completion. What is coming from Virgo? The 7 of Pentacles, which is Saturn in Taurus, and that's the card that came last time as well, right? Under the world, under Saturn, because Saturn in Aries has spoken last time. And so you see that the 7 of Pentacles are now behind the turtle. And it's like saying, well, you learning that Saturn in Taurus is something that you have to deeply understand, because here we see that these 7 pentacles are a little bit of a decay, a little bit of a, well, I'm not so happy with what's going on. But you gotta understand that the 7 is the crown chakra, and in the crown chakra we see that last time the 7 of Pentacles came under Aries, right? And Aries is like, take action, know what you have done. And even though it's going slow and you are seemingly suspended in air and flying, you can do it. So the 9 and the 7 is the 16, that's the Tower. Let go of the things that you understand are not working for you anymore, and the 7 is left. And so the 7 is saying, well, understand your crown chakra. Now, what is coming from the Mother Peace Tarot? And the Mother Peace Tarot is bringing here the Magician to the left down. And the Magician is Mercury. And so this is interesting, right? Mercury is that moment where we awaken to the magic in this world. And he's facing over to you, the Knight of Cups. And you understand that the 12 and here the 1 is the 13, and that's the transformation you want, right? The 13 becomes the 4. Now here the 6 and the 7 we know is also a 13, and so now there's a 13-13 portal, or then a 4-4 portal when you unite the numbers. And you understand clearly the 4-4 portal is saying, well, you gotta look deeper within where you're blocking yourself, where you're squaring yourself in, and in that you understand where you can heal. So what is the Magician bringing? The Magician is bringing the Tree of Life. And the Tree of Life is the number 58. The 58, that's also a 13. So I'm just going to leave this one here. The 13, that's the 4. So we have 3 times the 13. We are understanding that 3 times the 13 is right here. The 12 and the 1 is the 13. Then the 6 and the 7 is the 13. The 5 and the 8 is the 13. Then when we calculate together, 3 times the 4. 3 times the 4 is the self-empowerment that you find deep within, that you find by grounding yourself, by finding the Tree of Life. And the Tree of Life is the teaching of the Kabbalah. And in the teaching of the Kabbalah, you understand that things are reversed. In the yoga, we go from 1 up to the 12, or let's say to the 9, right? Chakras, but actually physically there are only 7 chakras. But let's say we have 9 chakras or even 12. There are different religions that are bringing us that information. You understand that the Kabbalistic Tree of Life is bringing it from up to down. The 10 is at the bottom, and that's where the tarot lies, right? And so you understand 3 times the 4 is like saying, well, take things slow. You are here to learn. You are here to awaken. you are learning through Virgo that exactly things take time. Things are not taken in a consideration when we go fast, right? We are maybe missing some important points. Then comes Uranus. Uranus is ruling you and is the planet of new beginnings and also the revolution, and you're getting the Five of Cups, and this card came last time as well, and it came under the King of Swords. And so you understand very clearly the Five of Cups is a sadness, is Mars in Scorpio, and Scorpio is of course the 13 that came here 3 times and then turned into a 4, right? And you see that Mars is the fighter, Mars is Aries, Saturn is in Aries, and we are feeling in that squareness that this cup is actually pouring into the Uranus, into the Fool, into that foolish emotion that maybe comes to you, and you're going to be like, I'm going to just do it. Why not? I'm just going to do it, because what else is there? And you see that then she goes down the rabbit hole. What is coming from Gemini? The Seven of Cups, which is Venus in Scorpio. So you have Mars and Venus in Scorpio. Mars is masculine, Venus is feminine. And so here you have 5 and 7 cups, that's 12 cups. And the 12 speaks to the Knight of Cups. Very clear, right? It's like interesting. So you see that here you are sad, disillusioned, but all you can do is actually go down that rabbit hole and say, well, what's left when I calculate it all together? The 3, the Empress. And the Empress is standing here, and she takes that step. She takes always the next step into wherever it leads. So the masculine and the feminine needs to be united to become a 12. And the 12 are all 12 zodiac signs are feeling that. And then the 3 appears. And so the message is very clear, right? Trust the numbers. Then the moon, which is in your sign in Aquarius, is bringing the root girl, the number 46, the disowned self. And so the 18 is the 9 when you unite the numbers. And here, of course, the 4 and the 6 is the 10. The 9 and the 10 is the 19. That's the sun. The sun is literally saying, well, take your time. Take your time in looking deeper within, in understanding that sometimes things go slow because the sun is in Cancer, and here Cancer is a snail, right? And you understand very clearly that the 19, then the 10 is left. And the 10 is a new beginning, is a new cycle that you want to consider. What is coming from your deck? The King of Cups, and that's Scorpio, right? And Scorpio has spoken here under Uranus, Mars in Scorpio, and Venus in Scorpio. Very interesting. Mars and Venus here, the masculine, right? It's almost like here we have a feminine and we have a masculine king. And it's very important that you understand that that's not something new. It has been done in the 15th century in the oldest deck that I'm using from all the decks, and that's the Visconti Sforza Tarot, 15th century. They used already masculine and feminine kings. And so you understand very clearly there's a strong message that's coming to you, because we have here the 10 and the 8 zodiac sign, that's the 18. The 18, the moon is bringing you own your disowned self and sail, because here are sharks in his belly, and he knows when he lets go of all these things that may be not working for him anymore, then he's free to sail. Here's the white above his heart. He knows deep down sometimes things are coming to us to test us, and so there is an 1818 portal or a 99 portal that you have to understand. Now, what is coming from Scorpio? You get the Knight of Wands. Now, what's really interesting, that's the knight that jumped here through the ring of fire. So here Sagittarius is coming again, right? Here you see Scorpio and Sagittarius, they follow each other. And so Brahma is the four-headed god, and you see the four is then the squareness, is then here the four, and the fifth cup that is then pouring out to the left, to the inner world, right? And you see very clearly now that we have the 1818 portal, that's a 9-9, and here this is also 9, 3 times the 9, right? That's saying, well, self-empowerment brings you to completion, brings you to yourself, brings you to the deity, the goddess, right, of here, the Knight of Wands, right? And you understand that this is no coincidence. You understand that the message is very strong, is very clear, right? We can see the difference between this Knight of Wands and this Knight of Wands. This is Hermann Handel, right? This is a modern version of now showing what that means today. But here we have a very old god that is like creative, and that is like letting us know you can handle the four, because the four is difficult. The four is also the Four of Swords, the squareness that we sometimes feel like we are getting stuck in. Then the sun is bringing you the darkness of the moon. So here the 19 turns into the 10, and the 7, the 10 and the 7, the 17. So clearly Aquarius is here. Aquarius is speaking through the sun, through the moon, right? And we see that the sun is influencing the moon, is giving the light, and you understand that the 8 is left. The 8, the healing comes through the stars, through the zodiac signs, through how this world does make a little sense in all its vastness, in all its shifting and changing. What is coming from Cancer? The Princess of Wands. And the Prince of Wands are all 3 fire signs. So here we have Sagittarius, right? Then we have Leo, the soul aspect, the healing. And you understand that then the only one that's missing is Aries, right? And Aries didn't come up, but still, here we have the 3. The 3 and the 7 is a 10. Then when I calculate this together, a 10-10 portal appears. Then you come into the final stage of understanding. I have realized the 1, and it has become a 10 with a 0. And the 0 we know is everything and nothing, is the Fool. And the 0 has brought you the 12 of Cups. And the 12 of Cups then calculated together is the 3. And you have to understand that we have 12 cups, but then we also have 3 cups here. That's then 15 cups. And 15 cups is Capricorn, attachment to work, attachment to the finances. So let go, right? Take that step out into the world. Sagittarius has showed you, right? Jump into the ring of fire, because on the other side there is Leo, there is healing, and you can do it. And so you are understanding that Sagittarius has come twice, and so there's a young Sagittarius that is pushing you out to experience, right, the actions that we can take, the adventure that we can take, no matter how dark sometimes the world can look like, right? And so the 10-10 portal is literally saying, yes, you can do it. You understand that the 10 is a new 1, and in that new 1 you have realized something. You have realized that the magician is the 1, and he has come and he has brought you the tree of life. The 13 is then the 4, the squareness, the 4, the mental attribute that we can liberate our own selves through Jupiter. Jupiter is the expansion, and here the swords is the expansion in the way you think, in the way you open yourself to new possibilities, and those possibilities are here, right? The healing is coming, then the celebration is coming, the 3 of Cups, and the sailing is coming. And by the way, when we calculate the 15 together, then we get the 6, and the 6, that's self-love. And in that self-love, you can arrive, and the slowing down, that here, the 6 is that self-love that I find deep within myself, and as such, I feel like I have arrived at home. Well, I cannot say I hope I see you in the next reading, because I don't know what's going to happen. We never know. We never know what's happening when we go down that rabbit hole, right? We go down that rabbit hole and we maybe find a sadness, and we maybe find an illusion, but when we calculate together, we get the 12 and then the 3, and the 3 is the hope that the Empress is teaching us that we gotta listen to what comes forth from deep within. And so, of course, I thank you for being with me. Namaste.